Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back. It's the Agostinho Zinga show. Episode number 86. With me, your boy, Agostinho. It's hot outside. We're gonna get into it. Hope you're doing well hydrated, well rested and shit. I'm feeling hot, I'm sweating, I've got a grey top on. I might sweat through it, but we're gonna carry on, we're gonna get it. Let's go, Louis Uzi Vert, let's go!
Yeah, boy, you disgust me. Why is your bitch so ugly? My bitch so perfect, she
Yeah.
kinda look Asian.
Yeah.
I'm all the way from Toronto.
Yeah.
All she do
Yeah.
is sucky.
Yeah.
I'm in problem from all of this money. No money problems cause I'm getting money. This shit is crazy, it just started for me. I was just
1, 2, 3, 4.
Rainwater flooded, wrist got cold.
Mr. Drop.
If it is an issue, you should grab a pistol. No, I didn't for them itty bitty niggas.
Woo.
Real killers. Nigga Gilly said you gon' win now.
Oh, yeah.
Getting money, gotta make
Yeah.
But I ain't talking Barry Bonds. When I was younger, one to carry Hilson.
I don't know who produced this song, but it's fucking banging. Everything Lit by Lou Uzi Vert. Get it right now.
I fuck with hit boy, I'm trying to be a hitman. Taking your ass straight out of existence. Where's your hitman? The underman got him. Shout out Jody Flacco. Fuck with your moving the bitches, them birds that be flocking. My bitch on my dick, she
Woo.
like a Rari. When I get up, she crack that like a cocktail. She
Didn't hear that bass.
like a cocktail. I could've fucked your bitch right
Creeping through like a cocktail, actually.
I had put some money right in the safe. Didn't do nothing, was high, was late. But we still talked on the phone every day.
Yeah.
Every day. She had my night, pussy up her leg.
Anyway. Let's pause that for now. How the bloody hell, how are you guys doing, man? Welcome back to Agostinho Zinga show number 86. As you can tell, I'm hype as fuck. I'm hyped. I'm obviously starting to sweat already. I can feel it in my little testices. But you know, we have to go where we have to go. I'm sat in here in my extremely boiling apartment. I'm sure if you've spoken to me in real life or you've heard me mention on this podcast, this building is one of the hottest buildings I've ever lived in my whole life. It's funny because a few years ago, if you would have told me I would have the chance to live in an apartment block like this, right, or in a flat such as this, I would have seen it as like a sense of pride, right? Because I remember growing up living in council houses with my mum and dad, right, and we'd always be living in shitholes, right, especially when you didn't get your like permanent housing sorted up and you were bouncing around from house to house in temporary accommodation, which probably led to me having no real connections with people, right? Because I kept moving around, like, you know, I kept moving secondary schools. I moved primary schools a couple of times, moved secondary schools a couple of times, and then I settled, right? After like, I think year 8 or 9, I think I settled in one school. But, you know, I've always moved around from school to school, which might explain my inability to form tight bonds with other human beings. But that is a subject for another day because we're talking about how hot it is, right? So, it's boiling, right? To extend, like I was saying, right? So when my mum was living in this, when we were all living in these shitty houses, right? I'm not going to detach it and say, no, my mum was living in the hellhole. I didn't have the bed bugs in my bed. I was living in a fucking Ritz. Not the case. I actually remember one day going to school and having a bed bug in my pocket, man. That was grim times, man. You know what I mean? But we're better now. You know what I mean? We're better. We got biceps and shit, man. No bed bugs out here. Anything beginning with B are these guns. Anyway, I remember wanting a sense of pride in the places I lived in, and the only things that I could point towards, because imagine the older I got, the more we started to live in tightly congested areas where people didn't necessarily have houses, right? They had flats, but some people had nicer flats, and some of the parents were lucky enough, right, to get forced out of the area so that the council gave them a new build somewhere, right? Usually they did quite well, to be honest. They did well to kind of relocate them into areas like within an arm's length or within a couple of miles from where they originally lived. You know, not the same stuff that's going on with the Greenfield Tower victims for that horrific fire that happened. Is it a couple of years ago, maybe last year? I'm not sure exactly the dates, but I'm hearing stories that they're being relocated to like crazy places that they have no familiarity with at all. Newham Council were pretty good with my family overall for the most part. But I remember the goal when we were in school, the kind of thing you used to get jealous of, right? Were kids that used to come in with different outfits, right, during non-school uniform day, right? That was a real telltale of whether or not you had money or your parents were wealthy. And then the second tell was where your house was and what it looked like. So some people had the sense of pride was going into a tower block where there was a concierge, hashtag, / a fucking an African uncle that you might know or thinks he might know you, so he keeps fucking staring at you. Yeah, really annoying, isn't it, right? When you have those African uncles that think they know you or they've seen you somewhere and they want to keep an eye on you so they can report back. You don't know me, mum, man. You don't know my mum. My mum's probably more white than a white person. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's way detached from that society. It's not happening. Which isn't true. My mum isn't white at all. She's probably, blacker than I am white, but whatever. All I remember is going into those people's box of flats and thinking, oh my God, man, look how amazing they're living. They've got this place with a concierge, some guy on the front with like a security badge. Oh my God, I'm actually dripping. I'm actually dripping for real. I'm dripping for real. I'm glad if you're listening to this via the podcast and not watching this via YouTube, then God bless you. You have been, you're not subjected to my perspiration coming through this tiny camera. But god damn, it's melting. And I've done this thing, and I've been doing this thing where I've been leaving the blinds closed to kind of like, keep it cool. It does absolutely nothing. It does nothing, all right? This sun is just belting its way through. Anyway, long story even longer. Remember going into a block of flats and wondering, oh wow, they have a concierge, they have someone at the front desk, they have lifts at work, staircases that aren't upholstered with fucking carpet, just nice. A door that has a bell on it and not just a flap that you have to knock on with, or the knocker thing. So little things that used to make me jealous. But fast forward to today, I now live in this block of flats that, in my group of friends, which is funny, right? When I'm younger, I see this as a point of like, wealth and luxury. Now that I'm older, my group of friends are people that I would deem to be friends or people that I hang out with, because we're going to get into a friendship thing in a minute, actually, because I've got some good thoughts on that one. But people that I tend to hang out with, people that I know would deem this place living out in the sticks. Do you know what I mean? In the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? That's what they would quote this place as, right? They wouldn't be fond of living in the middle of nowhere, even though I'm paying far less rent than they are. I've got much more room. I've got great connection points. Am I getting a bit defensive about this? It sounds a lot like it doesn't, but I guarantee I'm not defensive. But it does sound like it. Actually, where I live, we got a central line and there's a concierge. No, relax. But it's funny how it switches. Now it's kind of looked down upon. But the thing that is a real disadvantage of this place, because it was built so recently, that being within the last 10 years or so, it's got a new form of installation that is really good at conserving heat when it's during the winter times when everyone's in the building, combining the heat and shit like that. You don't have to put the heater on usually in the winter. And if you know anything about London or England overall, you know that we get some brutal winters. And for the most part, I can probably count on one hand the amount of times we put the heater on during the winter, during absolute, like when it was super necessary to put the heating on. So it conserves its heat really well, but of course in the summer it does the exact same thing. It just turns into a fucking a fish bowl with a lid on. Do you know what I mean? And you got a lamp on the outside of it. It's just fucking, I'm boiling like a kettle, man. It's fucking crazy how hot it is in here. Absolutely nutty. And it's even hotter outside, so I'm not going to complain about that. We've had an absolutely brilliant summer here in London, an absolute brilliant summer. I think I read something someone said on Twitter that it was actually, follow me on Twitter because that's why I'm active. I've kind of off Instagram. I haven't been on it in a while, just because I want to concentrate and do my own shit. And plus, I don't really watch people's feeds. I don't really upload my own stuff that much anyway, so it's no point really being on there actively until I get my pictures developed, actually, because I've got a camera that I might have here, actually. I've been taking loads of pictures. I've been doing them a lot lately. I've been doing them for years. Like, I've got so much film to process that it'll make my eyes bleed. But you should check it out. I think my website is, I'll link it actually in the bottom. It should be in the bottom of the description. I think it's like Agostinho35mm.tumblr.com. It's a Tumblr. I post all my pictures on my 35mm camera, like film camera like this, like cheap shitty Kodak stuff like that. And I take it on cameras like this. I've got another camera that my friend's got that I got to pick up later on, but I take stuff like this. So I've got loads to pick up on. So until I get those processed, I'm not going to go back on Instagram because I just want to upload my own content on there. I'm a little bit detached from it. I just upload my own shit and just like run away. I don't really partake in a commentary or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just dumb. And I guess my feed is a bit shit anyway because I follow shitty people. So I might need to start an artist one or something. You know what I mean? Like when the DJ stuff picks up a little bit more and I need it for communication in that regard, I might start up a DJ one or something along those kind of lines. And if I grow a pair of balls and go out for comedy and do a bit of stand up, a bit of open mic, which I haven't done yet because I'm a big P, then maybe I might do one for that as well. Like, you know what I mean? Agostinho comedian. You know, people have those really rank usernames. Ugh. It's like the real Todd Smith. Like, bruv, no one was wondering if you were the real or the fake. I mean, Todd Smith is one of the most regular names in the world. It's just like, ugh, pick something better. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a young man from Stratford. But yeah, that's been my week so far, man. My week so far has been great. It's been amazing. Today's going to be another amazing day. I'm going to probably go for a run later in the evening. I didn't do it this morning because I woke up and I felt like absolute shit. But I'm going to drag myself to do a few sprint relay workouts. I don't know why I'm looking over there. I think I heard something. But I'm in here on my own. So I can't hear anything unless it's a ghost. Anyway, hope it's not a ghost. Yeah, so I'm going to probably go out for a run later on and get that done as well. I need to also get some mixes, practice my mixing or get my playlist up and ready and put together so I know what I'm going to play on Friday, the 27th of July. I'm going to be playing at Tapped alongside my very good friend Aphrodite. It's a night called Tapped at the Nice Bar. Oh, I'm scratching your beard sometimes when it gets long and sweaty. It's nice, isn't it? It's cool like scratching your head, but when you scratch your head too much, people think you have head lice. Well, people think you have beard lice. Does that even exist? I don't know, Google it because I'm sure I'm going to bring up some fucking nasty images. But anyway, playing at Tap East on Friday, the 27th of July for a night called Tapped. You'll be able to find the details of that below. If you click the link to my website, that's agostinhozinga.com. You'll see the flyer on there straight away. And you should come down. The night is from 5 to half 11. It should be a lot of fucking fun. All right. We're looking forward to it. And I can't wait to get the party weekend started. And I'm also playing another little, actually, but it's a private gig, so there's no point mentioning it. But I'm also playing again on Saturday, which should be another good, fun one as well. It's always good, right, to be able to practice or put together like sample playlist and be able to then play them out loud to people. I think it's just such a pleasure, you know. I'm so detached from the outcome. I'm so removed from the rewards and the fruits of it that I'm really enjoying the idea that people are trusting me to play music during their nights out, because I know how sacred nights are. Nights out for people that live in London or live in the UK, where you're working 35 to 40 hours a week in a job that you don't necessarily like, under a boss that you despise, and then you get a chance to go out and boogie with your friends. You want to make sure that the guy or gal that's playing there knows what the fuck they're doing. And luckily, people are trusting these cocoa buttered covered hands, right, to play good music. And I'm thankful. I'm absolutely thankful. I'm really, really thankful that people are doing it for me, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. That's why I'm not taking that shit for granted. I'm like, I'm not going to play there. No one's going to be. Who's going to be there? I don't think I've ever, in my whole entire DJ career, right, which has spanned many a year, right, I don't know if I've ever asked somebody, oh, how many people are going to be there? I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I want to be one of the greats, you know? I want to be amazing. I want to play in some of my favorite clubs around the world, like Robert Johnson, Club de Visionaire, Prince Charles. You know what I mean? The list goes on. Panorama Bar will be fucking amazing, right? Like playing in places like that. I'd love to play in there one day. My goal is to play in those places one day. And you don't get there by being, you know, picky wicky in the beginning stages. You accept everything that comes your way. You make the best of it. You put your best foot forward. You perform for 3 people like you're performing in front of a festival full of 10,000, right? You put in your 10,000 hours, right? You put it all in. And then you get to a stage where you can be a bit more picky. You can be a bit more strategic. But at the moment, yes. Stack up my yeses. And then from there, next step, onwards and upwards. Oh, I've also been fasting these couple of weeks. It's been good. I've been fasting 4 days a week or 5 days a week sometimes with an app called Zero. I recommend you check it out. I'm sure it's available on Android, but it's definitely available on iOS. It's a free app by a guy called Kevin Rose, used to be a co-founder of Dig, and also runs another podcast with Tim Ferriss called The Random Show, which I recommend you check out. It's a really great fasting app. You basically log into it, and you basically check in when you started your fast, and then you check out when you ended it. And it basically calculates the time. And I've kind of aiming for the 16-hour mark per day. So I have my first meal around 9 or 10. Doesn't really matter when you have your first meal, but when you have your last meal, you just press go, and then it kind of runs until you have your breakfast again, right? Or whatever is your first meal during the day. So I usually have my first meal about, I say when I get back from the gym, like between like 8:30 and 9:30, I have my first meal. And then my last meal is about 4 p.m. or 4:30 or 3, or sometimes 3:30 p.m. And then I'll fast until the next day. So 16-hour fast. It's amazing. And it just simplifies life, man. Forget the health benefits, forget the losing weight, forget all that shit, right? It makes life so much simpler. Like I've never been that worried or stressed about food anyway. I've always been a bit detached and a bit unemotional when it comes to food. Like I've always said, I've never really got people that are super emotional when it comes to food and they have that thing where nothing annoys me more. Nothing gets on my tits more than people that are like, I'm hangry. Go fuck yourself, man. Are you a child? You're a grown up. When someone says they're hangry, it's usually someone that's above 25. You're above 25 and you're saying you're hangry. Like, what are you, a child? Grow the fuck up. If you're hungry, take your chip and pin, go pop into Tesco, buy yourself a sandwich. That's easy. I'm hungry. And I don't think we've ever, in my lifetime, been in a situation where I've been without food and I've been without the means to get food. Either going home or buying something. You've got two distinct choices. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I've had absolutely no food. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. And if it does exist, there's these weird things happening, popping up all over London, these community refrigerators where you can go in and pick up some, gone by date, I don't know, hot cross buns from Iceland and munch on those. They'll be a bit stale and you might need some water, which you probably won't get because we don't have any free water fountains. But yeah, you can eat something at least. Jesus Christ, hungry, an adult. It's like, what? So yeah, I've never had the attachment to food anyway, so maybe I'm a little bit of an advantage for something like a 16-hour fast because I don't really, care. I can eat the same thing for 6 months, basically. I've been eating the same thing for like 2-3 weeks already like now. Eggs, spinach, spring onions, bacon for breakfast with a couple cups of coffee, and then for lunch, a big salad. I've been having the same thing for like, I don't know, a couple of weeks now. So maybe I am, wired a bit differently, but honestly, the fasting, it really does make life so much easier. I feel so much clearer headed. Obviously, maybe the lack of alcohol during the week is also helping. I've got to be honest with that. And also, I'm tending to sleep a lot more. I sleep a lot more during the night now, easily, I guess. Maybe the fasting helps with that too. I'm also trying to go to bed a little bit sooner. I'm also doing a thing where if I'm going to bed, I try not to watch any stimulating videos. I try to like read an article or read a book mostly. And books are really good at kind of like making me kind of like, it kind of like kicks in the kind of sleep thing. I'm sure there's science behind it, but I don't know any of it because I'm not that smart. But yeah, man, it's been amazing. Fasting has been cool. Cool to keep it all kind of balanced. And when you're working a 9 to 5, the last thing you need, right, is unhealthy eating habits. The last thing you need, because you're going to be sat on your ass for the most part, right? You're not going to be moving. You're going to be just sat there, twiddling away, answering emails and doing the job that you're meant to do. So it's really important, I think, in my opinion, again, it's just me, silly old me, tiny old sweaty me, right? But I think what I would say is that it's really important to kind of enforce some sort of discipline. Actually, I might have got that on my board there, actually. A Jocko Willink quote, which I will live by. Discipline equals freedom. I recommend doing at least a Monday to Thursday or Sunday to Thursday in order if you want to get the 5 days in. I've done that a couple of times. Really keeping it healthy between Sundays and Thursdays, right? And then you're just giving yourself a license to kind of fuck off on Friday night when you go out for drinks after work with your mates. Or if you want to be even extra, you could do maybe 3 days solid, right? And then fuck off on the Thursday, Friday, and start again Saturday, Sunday. But I really think it's important to kind of have that structure in the week because it allows me, if I do go crazy during the weekend, I don't go all the way crazy because I have a base that I've already built on. I don't want to lose all the gains just through like one heady weekend. Like this weekend might be a bit different because I'm DJing twice in the weekend, which obviously would inevitably lead to me kind of going out and seeking another party to kind of keep the vibes going. But I don't want to do that. I want to kind of be sensible. I kind of want to get back home at a good hour, sleep, rest, do some work, sleep, rest, do some work. Do you know what I mean? And just keep that kind of rolling on. But if you're struggling with balancing weekend stuff with weekday stuff and seeing your friends, I recommend, maybe not fast, but I recommend, try and have some structure. Eat the same things during the week, mostly healthy things. Try and avoid carbohydrates and that bready shit because, god damn, if I see another sandwich at work again, I'm going to punch the wall. Everyone's eating sandwiches. There's no variation, man. It's just a fucking bread again and again and again. So boring. God. Anyway, what do I know? Here we are, episode number 86 of the Agostinho Zinga show. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna get right into the topics. Many I want to mention to you lovely people. Number 1, Playboi Carti first stop tour. Oh my god. Playboi Carti, one of my favorite artists to pop out of this whole SoundCloud era. Someone that I've followed from the very beginning, ever since he was kind of like quote unquote signed with Awful Records, with Father and all those guys there, and he's kind of come up with Ian Connor and John Ross helping him out. I've always been a big fan of Playboi Carti. I'm not sure what it is, but sonically there was something about him that really separated him from the pack, and I don't know what it is. I remember the other day, actually, I listened to a really good podcast with Bobby Lee and Joey Diaz, right? Really good. Joey Diaz, Church What's Happening, with his guest Bobby Lee, a really funny comedian who's got his own podcast too, called The Tiger Belly. I'm big up everyone's podcast, man. Check them out and also check me out too, motherfucker. Anyway, I remember Bobby Lee saying something like, he was at a comedy store once, and the world famous Joe Rogan said to him, like, you know, it's sad, but I don't get it, but that guy's just got it. That guy or girl's got it, and he just doesn't have it. I don't know what it is, I don't know what it's about, but I think Joe Rogan's saying to Bobby Lee, like, you've got it. You've just got the thing, the it factor. And that's the thing that I was trying to think about it the other day, trying to decipher why I like Playboi Carti so much, as opposed to everyone else, right? Like, why I held Playboi Carti, Lil Uzi Vert, and God Bless the Dead, XXXTentacion, why I rated those guys so highly. I don't know what it is. It must just be the X factor. They just have that it thing. And Playboi Carti just had it. I don't know what it was about him, because he was very finicky about releasing songs. Officially, he only has one album out and one mixtape. They're self-titled. I didn't thought it was an album, but supposedly it's a mixtape. And he also, of course, Die Lit. That's fucking. I've had Die Lit on loop, playing in the gym. I kid you not, since it's come out. Like, it's the only thing I listen to. I love Die Lit. I fucking love it. Like, that beginning, the intro track, R.I.P., like, God almighty. The sequencing on these albums are so good as well. Another thing as well, super underrated for someone like a Playboi Carti, a mumble rapper who people normally think don't have that much substance. But if you break down the lyrics, especially if you read them off Genius or stuff like that, and you look at the sequencing, and you look at how many tracks are there, you look at the fact that there's it's all hitters, no filler. You look at the fact that, you know, we have all our OGs, such as Kanye West and people like that, giving us 7-track albums and, you know, trying to condition us to like it. And then you've got people like Playboi Carti who are actually putting out great bits of music, you know, and giving us a good amount that we can actually vibe out to. I appreciate that so much, and I fucking really do appreciate it. And again, I don't know what it is about him, but he really is one of the best out at the moment. But the one problem I have, again, this is not something particular with Playboi Carti, in particular, it's something that extends to the hip hop community overall, is the lack of effort that goes into a live performance. Playboi Carti is doing a Die Lit tour at the moment with, I think, Sheck West and somebody else is opening for him. And I think the first tour was the other day in San Francisco, and a video emerged, which I'm going to play in a minute. And it's just him screaming over his track. Don't get me wrong, it's hype as fuck, and I'll be in that mosh pit jumping. I wouldn't give a fucking toss, right? But come on, man, rap the words of your song. He's got a whole vocal backing track playing behind him, right? So essentially he's playing the MP3 of the track with maybe the highs and the mids maybe reduced a little bit somewhat. And if you know anything about music, or you've got a flipping, what they call them? If you've got any sort of mixing panel at your house, or any sort of stereo or whatever, you know that lowering the mids and the highs, where it does take away some of the vocals, but not all of it for the most part. You can still hear it, especially if the volume is cranked all the way up to red. So he's there shouting and screaming. It's just like, this performance would be so much better if you just would have said the words. And it's usually, for the most part, mumble rappers, which is not a disparaging term, but let's say for the sake of description, they don't really have that many words in their songs anyway. It's like a few chants repeated for 6 or 7 times, maybe a verse that lasts not that many bars. Why can't they just rap the song like out loud? It will add so much more to the performances, and it's really disheartening. I saw Travis Scott play at the O2 in Brixton, and he was fucking great for that same fact. He was actually rapping the bars of his songs. Like, obviously he comes from the school of Kanye, so I've seen Kanye perform live, you know what I mean? Like, actually you hear his panting in the microphone and all that shit, yeah, right? It's my theme song, my little about jeans on, you know what I mean? He's actually performing that shit, but these guys don't perform, and I don't know why. It's so annoying. But anyway, let's play a bit of this video, and you can hear what I'm talking about. If it plays now. You hear that? Number one, I think his mic isn't even on, right? Which is another thing. And you can't say just to feel like this, it took a long time. Like, really? Come on, dude. I got good, but that being said, man, I got fucking goosebumps watching that. When it comes to that verse, man, I got fucking goosebumps. Like that is, yes, he doesn't perform his songs live, and he's using a backing track, but that is fucking hype as fuck. I just wish these kids would perform like an actual vocal of their thing. It's just annoying, man. Like. You see some of these performances from Rolling Loud and stuff. I saw a performance from Trippie Redd, who's got a few tracks that I like too, and it's just him shouting. You know what I mean? Him shouting over his own MP3. It's like, come on, dude, man. You're paying to see these guys perform, and it's like I mentioned it the other day on a forum that it's sort of like, he's basically a glorified hype man, in that thing, right? Because I already hate the DJ thing anyway. I fucking hate the DJ thing. I hate the ones, mic check 1, 2. Yeah, come on, man, clap. Let's get the hands in the air. All that shit, like, fuck off. It's 2018. Why the fuck do you have a DJ behind you? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's hip-hop's roots, right? But it's not even a hip-hop DJ, right? It's not, like, the hip-hop roots, like, fucking 2 turntables, scratching and mixing, do you know what I mean? Like, fucking around live. If you watch, like, old school Method Man, Wu-Tang Clan, Redman performances, you'll see, like, the DJ was integral to the performance. Like, you see, like, even Jazzy Jeff from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like, the DJ would have, like, he'd have a little, like, quote-unquote drum solo, where he'd kind of go on for, like, 5 to 10 minutes, like, doing his thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, showcasing his skills as an actual disc jockey, moving that plate around. But these DJs aren't even doing that. So what's the point? Like, if you're going to use the controller and stand behind the DJ and shout, there's no need. Maybe as an opening act in the beginning when they first start a show, I think that might be cool. Especially if the DJ is quite well known. Like, who's DJ? Is it OG Chase B, right? With Travis Scott. He's quite well known. He does really good mixes. They've got the WAV, I'm sure they're doing it, the .wav radio show that they used to do. But people respect OG Chase B's like musical taste. So maybe him playing at the beginning of your set, or like, when Virgil was did the New York City stop for Travis Scott's tour, right? I think, was it for Rodeo? That is a good example of one that really worked too, because, he was just like, he's a well-known person. People like his taste in music and shit. But when the show starts, like that, the deck should be taken away or cover it with a cloak. I don't care about this guy. Don't come there and start shouting 1 or 2. And I don't really want hype men either. I don't want hype men. I'm sorry, I just don't want hype men. Like, if you're tired, get one of your openers to come out and do a couple of songs. Like, again, if I was an artist, if I was a hip-hop artist, I'd be the complete opposite of everyone else, right? I'd actually perform my shows live. I wouldn't have any jewelry, right? I wouldn't have any crazy haircuts. I'd tuck my shirt into my jeans, and I'd wear the same thing every single day, or the same kind of outfit, right? I wouldn't do a little B with the Vans and wear like Vans are like, about to fall off your feet. But I'd wear the same components of an outfit, like a la Steve Jobs, you know what I mean? Black turtleneck, indigo jeans, and 9990 New Balances, right? That's why I just wear like a really basic outfit every day. I know Vic Staples does something similar, but I'll go the extra hog, the extra way. In that respect, because that's where you stand out. Imagine someone comes see a show, you've got amazing backdrop, right? Similar to what Tyler the Creator's doing with his tours, with the kind of the fake trees and all that sort of stuff. Like, really amazing, really kind of encapsulating the whole scumfuck flower boy stuff. But I don't know, that's what I would do, man. Why not allow all the other shits in there? Oh, and talking about scumfuck flower boy, I don't think I've actually got this on the list, but there's an amazing video that came out the other day with from the AWGE DVD Volume 3. I posted about it on my blog. If you haven't subscribed or checked out my blog, please do. It's defaultgoon.com. The link will be contained down below in the description of the video and of the podcast. You can find all my links to all my stuff that I do. But check out my blog at defaultgoon.com. There's a new video, a new AWGE DVD, which is ASAP Rocky's Creative Enterprise or Creative House, whatever they call it. And they've got a new DVD that came out the other day, and it's fucking banging. I'm a big fan of whatever they're doing with this stuff. I'm not sure if it's something they're going to continue for the long run, but I absolutely love it. It reminds me of the whole Cocaine Cowboys sort of stuff, and it's also a good way to kind of put out content, but to do it kind of like to put out kind of behind the scene content, but to do it in a sort of interesting way. I think that's really, really cool. And there's loads of bits in it that I love. There's obviously the potato salad freestyle or kind of song that I put on my blog. That's a collaboration between Rocky and Tyler the Creator. Supposedly they're going to put an album or mixtape together called Wang ASAP, which we will wait to be seen if that's true, or maybe it's a troll. But the one thing that I loved in it that was really, really fucking underrated was the Kanye West and Rocky and ASAP Ferg freestyle. It's fucking banging. I'm gonna try to find it now on the DVD. And Kanye plays a beat in this, right? That's fucking flames. It sounds like something like Tame Impala would put together, or it sounds like Tame Impala and Death Grips mixed in one. Insane. Let me try to find it. La 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 la. Scan a bit forward. I'll get up on the screen actually, so you guys can see. Here we go. Found it. There you go. So that's Kanye doing his shit on the fucking keyboard or MPC machine, right? MIDI controller, and then Ferg and ASAP Rocky jumping freestyle.
Real friends are stuck with them. Hey yo, like Jetta said, when you think of me, you think of a problem. When I come from Harlem, quick power, revolver. You don't want no problem, y'all niggas are starving. I don't give a fuck, quick power, revolver. A lot of save them, empty wave them. Coming through clave them, the dollars engrave them. Grave them, save them, just run the label. I'm hoping Ye save them. I ain't been in to save a hoe. Say the flow. I ain't been it going broke. I didn't save the dough. But they pay me though. Hated though. And the most hated though.
But there's one I really want to show you, right? I'm gonna pass forward it and fast forward a little bit. There's this beat that he plays that is obscene. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. Here we go. This is the one. Here we go. Man, tell me that's not fucking fire. I don't care what that thing is. I want to hear more of it. And you know what it made me do? It made me re-listen to Yeezus. Yeezus is fucking unfucking real. It's probably one of Kanye's most underrated albums. I don't think it's gonna be looked back upon with great admiration. The same way that what was the one? AOS and Heartbreak. I don't think it's gonna have that kind of resurgence, because when AOS and Heartbreak came out, I remember a lot of people not being fans of it and kind of criticizing him with the whole Runaway movie thing. No one really liked it, and then now it's kind of come back into the zeitgeist. But I don't think Yeezus is gonna have that. It's gonna have that luxury, just because Kanye West is probably in the eyes of some people he's kind of tarnished his legacy, right? So no one can really admit that maybe Yeezus was fucking ahead of his time, but it was ahead of his time, and it still is ahead of his time. Listen to Yeezus now; it sounds fucking nuts, man. Like Blood on the Leaves, like fucking hell, like nothing you've heard. Like nothing. It sounds incredible. And that's kind of in the same sort of lane. I don't know where that's going to go, if that's ever going to come out. That might be the stuff that he was putting together for the Kanye album pre TMZ Freak Out and all that shit. So we might not ever hear it, but god damn, man. That's a good tune. Overall, great little DVD. I recommend you check it out. AWGE DVD Volume 3. I'm actually going to link it in the show notes. Actually, let me add it to my links of notes so I remember. But actually to my show notes so you guys can check it out yourself. But yeah, fucking amazing. I'm really a big fan of these DVDs they're doing. They actually put out physical DVDs too. I remember they released it during the whole AWGE pop-up shop thing they had in Selfridges, where they had like a fake bodega. You think you guys might have seen it. It looked really good, kind of installation, and they had a couple fake DVDs being sold there. Like not fake, sorry, DVDs, like actual DVD copies that they made of it, and they made it look like they were, but like DVDs that are made on someone's like CD burner or something, like really haberdashery made, whatever. I love the whole attention to detail. I think that stuff is amazing. Really, really cool stuff. Big up everyone involved with that. What else next on the docket? We have here. Oh, Mannheim in Germany gets a new nightmare. I know. I've been speaking about this fucking Hackney licensing thing every single day. I've been bleeding the brunettes' ears dry. I've been stalking people on Twitter and finding out what they think and chipping in my own opinion. Like, hey, look what I think. I've been chipping in on all that sort of stuff. I've been reading all the supporting documents from the council meetings and shit. I've been watching everything on Facebook that people have been posting. I am a little bit invested in this, of course, because like I said, I used to put on my fair share of nights during the heydays of Hackney and Dalston. Not to say that the heydays are far gone, but during my own personal heyday, I was doing such a thing. So I'm quite invested in it, and the fact that I DJ myself, it makes me a little bit sensitive to this topic. But it's funny and interesting to see that another major city in Germany has adopted the idea of having a night mayor and having somebody that acts as like the go-between from the club promoters, the bar owners, the residents, and all that malarkey with the government, and kind of works out a fair sort of reconciliation, a fair judgment that works to the benefit of all those people involved, all parties. Because, having kind of, wrestled with this thoughts for a while. That's the only thing that has annoyed me, and I've mentioned it a few times in the other podcast I did the other day in episode number 85. I mentioned I've also got a clip on you can check out on my videos or on the other things I posted. But the only thing I don't like about the Hackney licensing stipulations is that it's so one-sided, It's not looking at but all sides of the picture. It's just heavily weighted towards the residents, who I'm sure if you're a resident, an OG resident that's lived in Hackney for before it was cool or before it was this cool, I can understand the frustration of I don't know, you forgot some rolling papers and you want to pop down to go get some from the off license at 11 p.m. and then you're bumping into people that look like me in the shop, like screaming and shouting, high on drugs, super drunk. It can be super annoying. I really do appreciate and understand that, but it needs to be a halfway house, because I'm still gonna, people like me are still gonna go out, but I'd rather go out in a safe environment. So let's have a halfway point where we allow some people that like to go out and we don't kind of demonize them, or we don't limit their fun by enforcing these draconian curfews that are, crazy. I don't think even a parent that has a kid that's living with them that's under the age of 35 is going to tell them to come back home at 12, let alone the government saying to you, you can't stay out in certain area. You can't stay in a nightclub in a certain area after a certain time. It's just fucking obscene. But anyway, this new article I saw mentioned on, again, Resident Advisor, brings to mind probably a need to have a night mayor, not a night czar like Amy Lammy. I think maybe she's a bit too high up and a bit too senior or a bit too seasoned of a politician to have an impact on the ground floor, to actually know what's happening on the streets, let's say, quote unquote, because, looking at her, I don't think she goes out that much, which is not a slight on her at all personally, but I'm just saying, if looks were a way to judge people's ability to do a job, which it shouldn't be, but people wear suits to go to big high flying jobs in the city sometimes because they want to make a good impression, right? You want to wear a good suit. You don't want to wear the suit that you've been wearing for the past 7 weddings, right? You want to wear a nice one that makes you look professional and shit. Women have the same thing with a power pencil skirt. You want to look great and amazing. But just from an adult point of view, I remember I read something, an article that she used to do nights in Vox or something before back in the day, right? So it gives you kind of an idea of where her kind of cultural timeline leans towards. And she's just not plugged in to what's happening right now. So she might not see the need or the importance of fighting this battle, but I think we might need a nightmare or someone that's less senior than Amy Lammy, that's able to kind of like act as the go-between and really fight our case in a fair and balanced way, because I'm pretty sure that unfortunately some of the safe hackney people or some people that were petitioning for the licenses to be granted for the places were maybe only seeing it from the point of view of the people that actually want the night, and only seeing it from the bars and clubs point of view, because I've seen a few council members on Twitter saying, you know, it's not all about clubs, it's not always about clubs, not always about clubs. That phrase has been chucked out a lot, so I'm assuming they felt as if like during the meetings that the people who were fighting for the curfews to be extended or fighting against the curfews were predominantly looking at it from the angle of I'm a bar or club owner, or I like to go out and get fucked up, I want to go somewhere to do it, and not really seeing it from both ways. So maybe we might need a nightmare who's able to, you know, be a bit more diplomatic and be able to see things from a 360 point of view. And if you need someone to do that job, look no further, man. Look no further. You know what I mean? I'll fill a quota, right? Because the color of my skin, I know what I'm talking about. I'm interested in the subject, right? I'm invested in it too, because I DJ myself and put on my own bloody nights. Night. Why do they call it nights as well, right? I'm doing a club night. Nights. It's so pretentious. I hated that. And I had a friend that used to always say nights. Doing a night. It used to really wind me up the wrong way. But there's no other way of explaining it. That doesn't sound douchey, really, is it? Oh, what are you doing? Well, I'm organising a party, and I'm getting some of my best friends to DJ. You know what a DJ is? A dick jockey, someone that plays music behind a booth and plays really cool stuff and wears cool outfits. DJ in a really cool bar somewhere. There's no way you can say it doesn't sound cool, does it? Really? All right. That's why when people ask me what I'm usually doing on the weekend, even if I'm DJing, I never say it. It just sounds so corny, doesn't it? Really? I don't know. Maybe it'll improve if I start DJing in like really big venues, but I don't think even so. I think it just feels a little bit like, you know? You kind of, I guess that's where the whole, there's that Twitter account, isn't it? I still haven't read this fucking article, but hey, I love a good segue. There's a Twitter account that kind of, I think, retweets DJs moaning, right? I think it's called DJs moaning or something along that kind of lines. That's probably where it comes from. That whole idea is like, you know, there's DJs moaning about the lifestyle of DJing when essentially you get paid to press play and cue on a big CD player. You know what I mean? With a mixer in between. It's amazing privilege to have, but you know, you can't be too up your own arse when you're a DJ. You can't, because essentially anyone could do the job. It's like being a stylist, right? You can't be too pretentious about it, really, because, you know, given the opportunity, given the resources, most people, if most people who can dress can be good stylists. Like, that's the fact of life. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people will be angry about that, but that's probably why a lot of stylists are so protective and snarky with their jobs and don't let people in. Because, you know, it's a job that everyone can do for the most part. That's probably explains why there's so many internships in the fashion industry to begin with. Most jobs, apart from actually making of the clothes and being talented at cutting and styling and draping and all that shit, they are jobs that are just done by people who kind of fall into the right place, right time, right place, right? The idea of like, you know, you start ID Magazine as two kids from college that just want to write a magazine that kind of reflects you and your friends are hanging out. You don't necessarily mean it to be like the Bible of all the fashion authority. It just happens to be, you know, right time, right place, and you fall into it kind of thing. I think that's how Edward Enfield ended up being like one of the youngest fashion directors or something of a magazine, because he was just around during that time and he was one of the best ones doing it, and he just kind of grew into the role, which probably explains why people are so guarded there. But anyway, back to this flipping topic I'm speaking about. So the city of Mannheim, right? Get this article up here on the screen. Hopefully you guys can see it. Says the following: the Mannheim gets a new night mayor. It follows similar appointments in Amsterdam, New York, and London. We haven't got night mayor. We've got night czar, and she doesn't seem like she wants to get her hands dirty. The German state of Mannheim has appointed a new night mayor. Hendrik Meyer, I didn't even read the article, by the way. This is interesting. Hendrik Meyer, a 27-year-old student and promoter, was chosen by a group of 10 finalists. See? That's what we need. We need a night mayor. Not a night czar, because I think that Amy Lammy woman, God bless her, she's getting attacked on social media for this hacking license fee. I don't think she should be attacked because it's not her fault. I think it's our fault in general for voting in these committee members who were hell-bent on enforcing these curfews and these new licensing laws. I think if we would have been more aware of what was going on, and people that lived in that borough, they should have been more aware of what was going on and backed a candidate or backed somebody that was running for office or running to be part of the council committee board that had our best interests at heart. We should have done that. We didn't, and now we're here. But it's not Amy Lamy's fault. I repeat, it's not Amy Lamy's fault. It's not even Sadiq Khan's fault either. You know what I mean? We just don't have, I don't think, someone on the ground floor that's able to articulate the point of view from the bars and nightclubs point of view in like a really succinct way. Anyway, it goes on, and I like the fact that it's a finalist thing, some sort of competition thing. You maybe have to do a pitch, kind of like a Dragon's Den, Shark Den sort of. What's that thing called? Is it Shark Den? Whatever that American version of it's called. Anyway, tasked with boosting nightlife in the 300-person city. I don't know, it's quite a small city actually. Maya was selected by an 8-person jury, beating out DJs, musician, and an economics teacher. His appointment follows the similar moves in cities such as Amsterdam, New York, and London. I'll do everything I can to make a cool thing out of it, Maya said of the role, which will see him employed for 50 hours a month while acting as a liaison between the bar and club owners, residents, and council. City. That's amazing. See, that's what we need. A night mayor. That's a job I can do. A fucking night mayor. But if someone else is out there that can do it too, throw your hat in the ring. We need more night mayors. Located between Frankfurt and Stuttgart, Mannheim is home to a number of popular clubs, including Hafen 49, Loft Club, Parker Lewis, and hosts the annual Time Walk Festival, which brings tens of thousands of ravers to the city with each edition. It also is the birthplace of so-called Mannheim Sound, a loopy style of house music once associated with acts like Nick Curly, Johnny D, and Reboot. That's fucking amazing. I'm happy to see that. Let me see. Let's try and get a picture of Hendrik Meyer and see what he looks like, because you know it might be interesting to kind of marry Hendrik Meyer up with our person, Night Mayor. See if he comes up on the old images. There he is. See? So that's Mannheim's night mayor, right? That's the one that's in charge of making sure we have great nightlife in Mannheim, in flipping Germany, a 300-person city, right? 300,000 people in that city, right? And London population is what? What's the total London population, right? 11 million. No, sorry, 10 million. It's soon to be 11 million. 10 million, right? Population of 10 million, right? Nighttime economy contributes 66 billion a year, right, to the overall GDP of the UK, which accounts for 6%. And this is the person that we choose to be in charge of nightlife culture in London. Like, really? Maybe theatre culture, maybe all that kind of stuff, yeah, but London nightlife? And she's a former Labour MP too. I didn't know that. I remember seeing the job being advertised online, and people were talking. I remember it being talked about in Resident Advisor news section, and I thought it was just going to be an actual job application thing. But how? This is a bit of an inside job, isn't it? How does she even get the job? She doesn't go out. Does she go out? Do you think she goes out? Like out? Like, you know, when I mean out, I mean out. No, come on, man. And that's theirs. That's Mannheim's. That's Mannheim. He's got a man bun, man. He's wearing a little slinky top on. That's the person that they chose. Look at him. He won. That's him winning. Congratulations, brother. He got a vinyl. Look, he got a vinyl. He got a chain. If you're listening to this on podcast, he's got a chain on, right, with a bit of vinyl on it, a golden vinyl. That's the award ceremony that they gave it to him. Like, amazing, man. Amazing. Ugh. Anyway, what do I know? Again, you know, it's not in my wheelhouse. I've been talking about this topic for so long. I'm even getting bored of the sound of my own voice speaking about this again and again and again. So I'm going to leave it. But, you know, it's just annoying, man. It's sad. We've got so many resources here in London that we could be using. There's so much potential that could be had, especially with the introduction of a 24-hour tube. There's not one venue in London that's open 24 hours. It's fucking nuts. They had to open up Printworks, right? That new warehouse, that new kind of, well, not warehouse, but that new nightclub they've opened that's kind of been, it's run, it is a warehouse. Well, it's running a converted print warehouse, right? I think they should do newspapers or something in there. So they converted into this amazing kind of rectangular shaped cathedral of fucking techno and house, right? It's fucking looks amazing. But the way they have to get around the whole like licensing committee sort of stuff, right? It starts at 11 p.m., right? The parties, I think. No, or 1 p.m. or something. No, something like 11 or 1? I think it's 11. I think it's 1 p.m. or something like that, and it closes at 12, so then people have the opportunity to go back on the tube. That's how they have to get around it. We have to have a venue that is open like that way around instead of the other way around that everyone else has to go, that everyone wants to go out in. It's just like annoying, man. Like, oh, come on. so far behind in things. But hey, what can we do? Next subject on the docket, because I've been boring myself to tears with this topic, talking about it all the time. Next, Harry Uzoka and what a waste of life. Yeah, man, this story is fucking sad and really, you know, it's just sad and what a waste of life. As I'm written in my notes, is very true. As I'm sure you might have known a few months ago, I think this guy called Harry, who's a very popular or well-known male model, especially within like the kind of like, you know, my fashion field or in kind of the scene, whatever. He was used, you know, by a lot of brands and did a lot of runway stuff. But he was kind of in my opinion, I would say one of the first kind of well-known male models, especially the kind of from the black model side of it, right? He represented a certain look. Plus, he was kind of from around the way, not around the way as in like he was local, but he was from the ends. I think he's from West London or somewhere. But you know, he's grown up in like a hood area. He's not some like posh kid. So he kind of represented the first sort of wave of kids that were coming up in that kind of community. And I remember back in the day, he used to actually go out with Leomi, who was another person who kind of came in the second wave. Like Leomi, I think Anderson or something along the names, really tall, slim black girl, was a kind of really popular model too. I think it was on one of those shows, one of those model agency shows. That's how she kind of got a breakthrough start from. But anyway, Harry was very, very well known. And unfortunately, the story came out a few months ago that he had been stabbed and he died, unfortunately, you know. And it was kind of like during this whole like knife crime outbreak in London. And the story didn't get swept under the rug, but not a lot of details are kind of like emerged from it. And now, obviously, the murder itself is on trial, and the kid that's responsible along with his accomplices are on trial, so a lot of the details are coming out behind it. And when you read it, man, the story is fucking tragic as fuck. It's such a waste of life because it shows just how quickly things can escalate when people's egos are involved. And even though his friends tried to intervene to kind of de-escalate the situation, him and the murderer were always going to be on a collision course. They were always going to meet at this point, and unfortunately no one was man enough, mature enough to just let it go. Ego is such a dangerous thing, and this is a story that kind of shows you it. Unfortunately, it's on the Daily Mail, so I'm going to have to show you a bit of Daily Mail nonsense, but hey, you have to know the devil in order to get to heaven. It's a great quote. I should put that in the book. But anyway, it starts off with a fashion model was stabbed to death by an obsessed rival after an Instagram feud over a woman a court heard. So imagine losing your life over that. That's already, right, enough to kind of be like, you know what, that's not worth losing a life over. You know, you're a model, right? And you lose your life because a rival is obsessed with you and you start a beef on Instagram. Like, what? Anyway, Harry Uzoka, 25, another waste of life, yeah, 25 years old, Jesus Christ, who worked for brands including Zara, Mercedes, allegedly fell out with a fellow catwalk star, George Coe, 24, who he had branded a fake in the series of social media exchanges. Jurors heard Mr. Uzoka showed her another model messages in which he warned lookalike Coe to stop copying him. Like, God damn it. That is so retarded, man. The guy lost his life over something like this. It's so retarded. Like, it's so unfortunate. It's so sad. This is the epitome of retarded. If retarded was allowed to be said in normal conversation, this would be the epitome of it. Someone loses their life because you're calling another male model a copycat. Like, what? That's the whole point of male modeling. That's why they have flipping fit models. Because they want a lookalike look similar to the flipping illustration or the sketch that they put together. Or a kind of muse. That's the whole point. Like, that is the whole point of being a model. Like, to have a particular look. Especially if you're only a year apart. It's even worse because, you know, they want a particular look and they just want it in a younger face. Or in a more slavette body type. It's just the nature of the business. Jurors, anyway, after being told that Coe was bragged about sleeping with Mr. Uzoka's model girlfriend, Ruby Campbell, another flipping part of the story that fucks it all up, innit? There's a girl involved, obviously. He said he wanted to settle the row face to face, the Old Bailey London heard. The pair arranged a confrontation in Shepherd's Bush, West London, on the afternoon of January 11th for the court heard. Richard Howell QC, prosecuting, said to his discredit, Mr. Uzoka recruited his flatmate Andre Harper as backup, and both men armed themselves with dumbbells. They went to a knife fight with dumbbells, like, God mighty. But jurors heard Coe took two friends, Jonathan Okibo and Mercy Dikanda, both 24, and at least 3 knives. Coe with 2 and Dikanda with a big machete-style blade. Jesus Christ, it's not difficult to work out which side won and which side lost, said Mr. Howe. Uzoka and Harper were outnumbered and bars stand little chance against knives. which I'm not sure about. I think if you've got a good throw on you, you could get some damage done and maybe potentially knock the. But maybe that's some movies. That's some movie shit, right? Having a dumbbell in your hand and throwing it at someone's head and the blade like flying, and then you kind of jump in here, grab it, Tom Cruise style, and chop the guy's head off, right? Maybe that's not gonna happen, but you could do some damage with a dumbbell. Mr. Uzoka was quickly trapped around the parked car, faced with the formidable, threatening sight of Dekanda and his terrifying knife. I can imagine, again, this is when egos get involved, right? You're already pent up, you're having your back and forth on Instagram, no one's willing to back down, your friends are telling you to allow it, you're not allowing it, you finally meet each other face to face, you got your dumbbells in your hand, it's just you and your boy, you realize he's got 3, you're like, what, the fuck you think you're gonna fuck me up? And then he pulls out a knife, you give it even more irate, your adrenaline's pumping, you're fucking seeing red, you go to swing, you miss, he swings, he misses, you start running away in terms of trying to grab your composure, you're standing next to a parked car, you kind of trying to fail a Hail Mary, and then, your life ends. But it's just like, there's so many points in the arc of that story where you could just allowed it and walked away. And I'm assuming this is the model girlfriend right here, this like mixed-race looking lady. The story continues. Denko, Okigbo and Dekanda kept Ozuku confirmed to the area around the car. Eventually, Uzoka was separated from the bar that he had, and unarmed, he made a desperate run for freedom and got away, although he had chased by Okigbo, who had taken Uzoka's bar, and Okigbo threw the bar at Uzoka as he ran away. Uzoka escaped, but his life was ebbing away from him. Whilst at the car, he had been stabbed in the heart, and when he reached the outside of his nearby home, he collapsed. The emergency services did everything in their power to save him, but his injuries were devastating, and he died on the pavement outside his home. Man, how fucking terrifying is that story? And it goes on. I'll link the story in the show notes. It does go on to say, his friends had told him to allow it. His friends were warning him to leave it alone, that the kid was a bit volatile, that he was a bit, unhinged, that he was willing to do anything just to kind of kind of get the attention of his idol. And it's sort of like it's sort of like a cautionary tale of what trolling can do, right? This kind of maybe, I just thought about it now, this maybe is the end of trolling. This is what trolling could lead to. Like someone that is obsessed with you and just wants to get your attention, so much so, right? They want to physically assault you because they just want to be that close to you. They want to stab you with a knife and through your heart and shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, be an everlasting imprint of your life, so no one forgets that their names are attached together. It's just so sad, man. So sad to see. And if you would read the article, the rest of the article that I'll link below, there's images there of his friends, model friends, who are arriving at the court to give testimony and shit. And I don't know, man. Like, and they just have this empty look in their eyes, because they're having to give a testimony for one of their friends with the same age who died because of a knife crime. He wasn't in a gang to begin with. If he was a gang kid and you have to be a model, cool, no worries, right? You live by the sword, die by the sword. But this just happened to be like model beef, like for legit model beef. Maybe they both had rough backgrounds, but they're not in no gang or anything. They just got model beef and it escalates to this level. And it's like a penny for those witnesses, the friends and family of Harry having to go to court, what their thoughts were. Did they ever think that they would have to be in court giving testimony about a murder of one of their fellow colleagues or someone in the scene, one of their mates? And you'll recognize a lot of the faces without going into the court of people that you've kind of probably seen in Days of Confused magazines, ID magazines, stuff like that. It's a terrifying, terrifying, terrifying story. And I don't know, man. What a waste of life. I saw that. I think, guy's 25 and he's dying because another younger kid, he's not even that young. He's 24 actually, right? A year younger than Harry. Is like, so it's quote unquote a copycat. And I'm assuming the whole him banging Harry's girl has some way, in fact, to kind of like get back at him, right? It was love thing. It wasn't like he met this girl and, they kind of hit it off. It was like, no, I'm going to pursue. It's like those guys, that's a scumbag, right? The guy that actively pursues someone else's girl because he just wants to get at them or something. Nothing more scummy than that, really, in general. But yeah, I saw that story. I thought it was fucking sad and really, really unnerving. But it's good to talk about these things and get it out there in the open. What else I thought was interesting that's on this list of topics? Oh, I saw this video, right? And I thought to myself, this is very, very interesting, right? I tweeted the other day, again, follow me on Twitter, Agostinho Zinga, all one word, Agostinho Zinga. I saw on Twitter the other day, there's this obsession with Jonah Hill, right? All the guys at GQ and all those kinds of like, so I had to unfollow a few of them because they're really annoying. They're so cynical. It's just such cynics. It's just fucking, it ebbs away at my soul because I'm such a positive Larry or whatever, a positive Patty or whatever it's called. The guys like Chris Black and all those other people, those kind of like, smarmy, kind of funny, I don't know, funny, like jock funny, right? Fashion guys. They love Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill's like their fucking Beyonce. They absolutely love Jonah Hill. And they did like a Jonah Hill day. I'm assuming that's, a day where they celebrate everything Jonah Hill. And Jonah Hill decided to turn up for this one, right? So everyone's really excited. Everyone's really happy. It's amazing to see. But I just never got the fucking hype with Jonah Hill until I watched him... wrong one. Until I watched Jonah Hill have an interview on, I think, is it Jimmy Kimmel? Have I got it here on my list of topics? Please have it on here. Anyway, I'll get up on YouTube now. He had an interview with Jimmy Kimmel, or is it Jimmy Kimmel? Jimmy Kimmel, yeah. And it kind of won me over a little bit. I like Jonah Hill, man. He seems like a cool dude, and it's got another topic to speak about. It's on the end of it, but I will play a little bit of this interview. Oh no, Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon? No, Jimmy Kimmel. No, it was Jimmy Kimmel, yeah. So, where is it? Oh, there on Jonah Hill Day. Let me play it now so you guys can hear. And I'm a big fan of him now. I've always been a big fan of him as an actor anyway. He's amazing, Wolf of Wall Street and those other movies he's done. He's got another one coming up. I think that he's kind of like, that's why he's doing the whole press run for. But this, I thought, was a really good interview and kind of really spoke about why he's, I don't know, such a cool dude. Show. Let's click this and then hopefully you guys can hear.
Jonah Hill Day, which is an annual event now in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
Now, how did this happen, first of all? Do you have any idea?
So, I don't know, a year ago, someone sent me a flyer that these people were doing a first annual Jonah Hill Day, and they were throwing a party.
All right.
And I didn't go.
Uh-huh.
Even though it was in Brooklyn, I live in New York, because I was too shy. Like, I didn't really get it. Like, I was like, oh, is this a bit? Like, are they making fun of me? I didn't really understand it.
And it wasn't on your birthday or anything, was it?
No, it was like a random day in the summer, and they threw this party, and it looked fun as hell. And it was one of those, like, FOMO things where I was like, man, that would have been cool to go. Like, they would have liked it, but I was just pacing around in my apartment. And this year it came about, and I'm kind of in a new wave. And so, like, I was like, you know what? These guys are showing me love. I think it has to do with how I dress.
You've become like kind of a fashion icon, haven't you?
People like how I dress,
right?
Which I think is very flattering, and so it has to do with fashion, I think. And these are like, so I thought these were like 16-year-old kids. They're like 35-year-old men who work at GQ and stuff. Like they're adults. I thought they were gonna be like 15.
And they show up dressed as you?
No. Like it's all about like your own style.
I see.
And this year I was like, you know what? I need to get over my social anxiety, and I went in there and I freaked it.
You did. You took pictures with people.
I put it up and then I freaked it.
This is from your Instagram. Which one is you?
There's a cardboard cutout of me, but and then there's me. But see, like these are grown-ups. You see, like, I thought, yeah, it's cool.
Celebrating Jonah Hill Day.
But they just, like, love fashion, and I like, I like supporting my friends' brands, like Palace or, anything that's good.
And we stopped that there because fuck Palace. We don't support Palace around here. Fuck them. But big up Jonah Hill. Big dude. I'm a big fan of him overall. I think he's an amazing dude. And that video basically explains why a lot of people have so much, I guess, affection towards him. For someone such a big ticket like Hollywood actor, he's surprisingly mellow and surprisingly chill. And even though it's fuck Palace for life, he reps people like Palace. Was a particular, at the time he was wearing it as a big actor, quite a small brand, and he's wearing it all the time. I remember he was wearing quite a few of their pieces early in the very kind of like, not the beginning, but when they were kind of like hidden their tendency of pop culture. And I'm sure they were very thankful that he was bringing extra eyes to the brand and shit. So he actually is a supporter, and he wears loads of kind of like indie brand tees and shit. So he's a real big supporter of brands in general, as a big student of streetwear, it seems, for the most part. So big credit to Jonah Hill. But the thing that kind of bummed me out was this video that I stumbled upon on Reddit, right? And it's the video that kind of made me wonder, like, of course, not wonder, but I know what the answer is. But this could never happen to a woman, because I kind of get why everyone's so big fan of Jonah Hill, because I guess he represents the everyman, right? He's more relatable to guys who are into clothes than a Bradley Cooper, the guy from like, you know, those kind of dudes, the kind of like quote unquote attractive young men of the scene, right? He's more kind of relatable to them in that respect, because, you know, he's very good at his job, like craft of actually acting, but he looks like the average guy, right? But he's got this mass of like disposable income that he's able to spend on clothes of his fancy, and he does it, and he lives a really good life. Like, for the most part, I think he lives in New York, and wherever you're seeing the pap shots of him, it's always him like kind of popping off to shops or running errands and shit, and like really relaxed clothes. He looks just, you know, looks comfortable in his own skin for the most part. But I never really knew what the kind of like hype was behind it, and I guess a lot of it has to do with the fact that he looks like a regular guy. But I guess on the other side of it, from the fucking cynical press motherfuckers' point of view, they're seeing that as like, he's like an ugly fat dude, right? That kind of is always the butt of the jokes. And I never knew it was a thing. And I've only just realized it now because someone made this video montage, right, that kind of like depicts it. And just imagine, right? Let's just watch this video and imagine this happening to a female. It would never happen, right? So this is where the whole equal pay or equality thing happens, right? It's a societal thing that needs to be at its core looked at from both angles, not just predominantly for the women, just for the men too, because this kind of behavior is abhorrent. Like, imagine having to go through this, like, right, doing a tour for a film or a project you're working on. It's about acting, right? And this is what he's getting subjected to.
It's important to be unattractive to be funny.
Vous ramenez vos potes DiCaprio et Brad Pitt et vous partez.
Today to see if I still.
But are you still considered the fat guy when you go to a party or anything? Because I run into that a whole lot. I'm the fat one. So are you the fat guy in Hollywood still, or is everybody like look at you and they're like, oh wow, you know, this is great, now you're healthy?
Do you have any other questions?
Physical torture. What is it he does to you? What does he do?
If you could adopt a personality trait or mannerism from one of your Moneyball co-stars, what would it be? Any one of them. If they're sitting right here, that could be one of them. If it's Phil Hoffman, whatever.
No, I gotta go with a serious actor.
Okay.
First of all, you smell good, which is surprising. I don't know. I just wouldn't think of guys who would have a nice scent on.
That's such a, like, I'm going to really work hard to not take that as a shot. But I think you would smell nice. No, but I don't. That's that sack rat. Okay, that's not.
Do you think he'll remember you?
I will let you down.
Yo, that's fucked up, man. That is really fucked up. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's an absolute dick move by all involved, especially all the journalists and pundits involved, trying to get a rise of somebody to get reactions so that they can flip out, and then you could use that as your fucking clickbait title. That's fucking disgusting, because that could never happen to a woman. It kind of does sometimes happen to like someone like Amy Schumer, but she kind of has a bit of a stinky personality by the most part, especially if you believe that story that she went up to that comic during his special, or during when he was doing a headline tour, and kind of like beckoned him to come off the stage as he was performing. Not as if she went to a side and told the manager to kind of give him the light or to give him a sign or give him a bit of paper or something. She actually whispered like, hey, do you mind if I do a couple of minutes because I'm practicing for a tour or some shit. Like, absolute abhorrent behavior that no one does in the comedy world. It's not a thing that happens. Usually if a bigger comic comes into a club, you kind of get the lights run on you, so you have it speed up and hurry up, but no one's going to stop the show in the middle of your show and tell you to get off the stage and let Chris Rock go on. You'll still be able to do your set, but you got to quickly, you might be able to do 10 minutes, you have to do 5, but you still get a chance to do your set. You'll get that respect. So Amy Schumer kind of I think comes a lot more from her personality just being stinky, right? She just seems like she's a bit of a bitch, which is, you're allowed to be. It's not her, she shouldn't be, you shouldn't be a nice person just because you want to be a nice person, right? But the thing that Jonah Hill thing is annoying is that he's not even a self-deprecating character. He's not like the Fluffy guy, the comedian Fluffy, who I fucking abhor, who's like consistently taking the piss out of his obesity and uses it as a kind of like badge. So much so to the point where if he wasn't fat, would he be funny? Like, and I'm not sure if you know who this guy is, but His name is called is Fluffy. I think he kind of says I've got what his name is. Fluffy comedian. Oh, Gabriel Iglesias. Have you pronounced it? Fluffy, right? And he has loads of flipping stupid fat jokes. Self-deprecating, like he says all of the facts. It's kind of like Eminem 8 Mile style. It says he kind of comes at them like a fucking machine gun, so you can't say anything, right? Where's the clip of him? Let's see if I can get it up on here. Gabriel Iglesias, and it's kind of the same again and again and again. It's just him being fat joke, fat. Mate, there's no one clip that's short, is there? This guy look at me like, yeah, look, hear him, right? This is what Jonah Hill shouldn't be like, right? Constantly taking a piss out. He's not even, Jonah Hill isn't even that kind of guy. He's not taking a piss out of himself and saying that he's ugly and he doesn't think he's attractive or shit. He doesn't say that at all, right? And somehow these press cunts have kind of like jumped on it. But what do they want? If he was like this, they wouldn't say anything to him, right? It would be okay. But I don't think you should use this as your kind of calling card to define you as a person. Your weight or the way you look shouldn't define you. But anyway, check this out.
That's a long walk. One thing I gotta give it up to you guys is your air. You guys can breathe here. I live in Los Angeles and I didn't realize I was being deprived of oxygen. I got off the plane here, I took a deep breath, I was like, oh my God, I can do math. Freaking great. You know, and then we flew, it was totally nice flying in. I won't say what airline because it wasn't this one. But anyway, they said you can't say the names, you don't want to offend the sponsors and stuff, and you know, big hand for WestJet. Start carrying bigger seats so fluffy people can enjoy the ride.
It's like, come on, man, yuck, so hacky. Funny, don't get me wrong, but come on. So that's what they want Jonah Hill to do, right? They want him to consistently take the piss out of himself and what he looks like. Like, go fuck yourself. Yeah, just imagine that happened to a woman. Right, being consistently jibed and barred about being the ugly one in the group, like you'd get absolutely slaughtered. Like, really, you couldn't do it. You couldn't go one interview. You couldn't. It couldn't happen more than one interview until someone kind of got out a fucking hashtag. I'm with her. She's beautiful, gorgeous. All this fucking nonsense. Like, it wouldn't happen. There'll be protests on the streets, mate. You'd obviously lose your job. You know what I mean? You have to put out a PR press sorry thing. You have to go in hiding. You have to put out that statement that you're working on yourself and that you're listening, right? I hear you. I'm going to spend this time listening. Fuck off. I'm not listening to you if you're calling me fat and shit. Go fuck yourself. Oh. Anyway, that's been an hour and 10 minutes. That might be a good place to end it. Go fuck yourself. This has been the Agostinho Zinga Show, episode number 86. With me, your host, Agostinho. Thanks for checking me out. As ever, all the links to my social and all that malarkey are down below. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow my blog at defaultgoon.com. That is defaultgoon.com. I'm posting on there every day until the end of the end of August, I'm doing a little micro golfing that I mentioned in my podcast number 85 that you can check out, which is the one before this. I mentioned I'm doing micro golf, so I'm doing that until the end of August. So check out my podcast, check out my blog. It's all on there. If you're around Stratford and you want to have a party and have a little dance, come to Tap East on Friday for a night called Tapped. I'm DJing alongside my very good friend Aphrodite, playing the very best of all of the above. And it should be a fun night out. I'm also going to see you guys again, hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to record another podcast or maybe on Friday to kind of put that out there, kind of have a day in between. But as ever, take care of yourselves. Hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of the week and you have a nice, good and cheerful time. Give me a like, give me a share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your compadres, and I'll see you again very soon. Agostinho Zinga Show, episode number 86. Over and out. Peace!